Did you know that in recent history, a huge country like the Soviet Union was ashamed of the war with Afghanistan? The Afghan War, which took place in the 80s of the last century, caused considerable damage to the USSR and greatly contributed to its disintegration. In this video, we will show the main events of the Soviet-Afghan War through a map. The end of the 70s coincides with a period of ongoing Cold War between the United States and the former Soviet Union. A number of political changes would take place in the Afghan government, and its power will weaken. In such a favorable situation, the Soviet Union wants to expand communism in Afghanistan and show its power to the whole world. To do this, war tactics that bring quick victory were chosen. How familiar is it? On December 24, 1979, the USSR began to march into the country's territory under the pretext of helping the Afghan government. Initially, special forces would be airlifted to Kabul and other major cities. Soon, other military units would be included in the territory of Afghanistan. In a short time, 100,000 Soviet troops took control of major cities and highways. But this was just the beginning of the war. At the beginning of 1980, small rebel groups united to form a large liberation movement called Mujahideen. The Mujahideen's goal was to rid Afghanistan of atheistic Soviet invaders and overthrow the pro-USSR Afghan government. While the Soviet military controlled urban areas, the Mujahideen were located in rural and mountainous areas. Therefore, the rebels used large-scale guerrilla war tactics. They made quick attacks and quickly disappeared among the mountains. Thus, the Mujahideen began to cause great damage to the USSR army without major battles. Of course, the rebel warriors are not alone in this matter. The USA, China, Britain, Pakistan, and other foreign countries provided them with political, material, and military resources. Especially in 1986, the appearance of the American Stinger weapon among the Mujahideen changed the tide of the war. Stingers made it possible to shoot down the Soviet Air Force with ease. Such a prolonged and costly war would derail the economy of the Soviet Union. In 1988, the new leader of the USSR, Mikhail Gorbachev, decided to withdraw the armed forces from the territory of Afghanistan. From this year, mentally broken Soviet troops would return to their countries. On February 15, 1989, the last military unit left Afghanistan. About 1 million civilians, as well as 90,000 Mujahideen, 18,000 Afghan soldiers, and 14,500 Soviet soldiers were killed in the brutal 9-year conflict. In 1982, about 3 million Afghans fled to Pakistan, and another 1.5 million fled to Iran, fearing the dangers of war. The war in Afghanistan has lasting effects to this day, as we are seeing the country once again deal with the wounds of the troubled past. Hopefully one day the citizens of Afghanistan will have a country free from the far cry of war.